Hello, I'm at Varriale, and what do you think of when you think of renewable energy? And more specifically, what types of renewable energy do you think of? You think of solar, wind, geothermal? I bet there's one that you didn't think of in particular, probably because it's kind of the black sheep of the renewable energy world, nuclear energy. And I want to understand why people don't regard nuclear energy on the same level as other renewable energy resources. Sure, it has its drawbacks. All energy resources have their drawbacks, but nuclear energy has some fantastic qualities to it as well. And instead of dismissing this valuable resource, we should start to promote and utilize it even more, as it is one of the most advanced and efficient energy sources on Earth. And the first thing I want to bring up on why nuclear energy deserves to be as important as other renewable energy sources is energy density. It is one of the densest energy sources on the planet. To put it into perspective, Max Schultz, from his article Nuclear is the Future, wrote, "Pound for pound, coal stores twice as much energy as wood. Oil packs the same amount of energy that coal does into half its weight in space. But a gram of uranium-235 contains as much energy as 4 tons of coal." And another great thing about nuclear energy is its relative cheapness. Nuclear reactors are very cheap to maintain, and according to the World Nuclear Association, the operating cost of these plants is lower than almost all fossil fuel competitors, with a very low risk of operating cost inflation. Plants are now expected to operate for 60 years and even longer into the future. Renewable energy sources like solar and wind are notorious for being expensive to upkeep, so having an option like nuclear that has the best of both worlds is fantastic. And as we grow into adulthood, we're going to have bills to pay from electric companies, and being able to have relatively cheap bills while still being environmentally conscious is something very important and will help us grow towards a greener future. And I find it strange that people don't consider nuclear energy like other renewable resources, because it outcompetes those renewable resources in a few categories. And there's one in particular that nuclear energy excels in: its ability to operate all year. Let's say it's cloudy. The performance of solar energy suffers, and if it's not windy that day, wind turbines are ineffective. But nuclear energy is able to operate rain or shine. A quote from Richard Rhodes states that nuclear energy operates 366 out of 365 days per year. The other 29 days was taken off the grid for maintenance. In contrast, U.S. hydroelectric systems powered only 138 days out of the year, wind turbines only 127 days out of the year, and solar electricity only 92 days out of the year. That's barely over a quarter of all the time out of the year that solar was producing energy. And these reactors can run up to 60 years now, with incredible consistency in energy output. But nuclear energy can be a bit polarizing regarding its consequences, and those issues need to be addressed. And the two biggest things holding back nuclear energy right now is the high upfront cost of making the reactors and their troubled past with public safety. Luckily, these issues have been improving over time. For example, one of the issues I addressed earlier, the high upfront cost, has been going down. Even though they are cheap to operate once built, the main cost of nuclear reactors comes from the actual building of these structures. But one way engineers are fighting this problem is standardization. Like Henry Ford and his Model T car, nuclear engineers are following a preset plan to build new reactors faster than ever before, so it is easier to build more of them and cheaper as well. And this standardization has been a global undertaking, with countries all over the world coming together to make reactors quicker, cheaper, and safer. Which brings me to my other major issue that nuclear energy faces: its history with malfunctions and meltdowns that are a threat to public health. Over nuclear energy's 60-year history, there have been 3 major events that have defined this issue: the 3 Mile Island meltdown in 1979, the Fukushima meltdown in 2011 caused by an earthquake, and the most notorious one, the 1986 Chernobyl meltdown. These accidents have displaced thousands of people in Chernobyl, and there's still some parts closed off to the public and will continue to be closed off for years to come. But through these accidents, we have realized what power we are dealing with and have strived to make improvements from these mistakes. The World Nuclear Association cites these improvements as high quality design and construction, equipment which prevents operational disturbances or human failures and errors developing into problems, comprehensive monitoring and regular testing to detect equipment or operator failures. Safety is a priority when constructing these reactors. And as technology improves, so will the technology of reactors, which will propel nuclear energy to be able to provide sustainable and clean energy while still being safe for everyone inside and outside the reactors. And there's a relatively common misconception that nuclear energy is a non-renewable resource. This is false. Nuclear energy is a fantastic renewable energy resource that has incredibly low carbon emissions. Not only is it a renewable energy, but it is one of the most powerful renewable energy sources on the planet. If we're able to support it and promote it even more, we can cut out more coal and oil factories and mines while still being able to support our ever increasing need for energy. And if we, as Americans, want to head towards a greener future, I do not see a solution that does not have nuclear energy in it. I want to see this country pave the way towards a sustainable future so that other nations will follow. And we can be the trailblazers with nuclear energy. Thank you.